You're watching TheStreet.com TV. I'm Farnoosh Torabi here with Jim Cramer, contributor to Real Money. Hi, Jim.
Hi.
You recently wrote a story on the Bear Stearns spillover, or rather, no spillover. You think that their mess is contained.
This is about J.P. Morgan and Merrill Lynch punishing Bear. I think unless you worked at these places, you don't understand the hatred here. They pulled the credit lines for these guys. It's not a credit issue, it's a liquidity issue. The actual paper that's underneath this is pretty good. But Bear levered up on the paper. The paper, they got withdrawals as people were worried about subprime. So now they have to, they had a capital call. These are the hedge funds that had a capital call. Well, it's very embarrassing to Bear if you cut the credit line of this firm. No one cares, by the way. The credit committees at J.P. Morgan and Merrill Lynch, they're just out to try to stop any sort of loss. So you can't appeal to them. It's like appealing to a stone wall. But if this were Joe Blow hedge fund, I think they probably would have let him go.
So I get it, but why then, if you're a Bear Stearns, why not get the PR engine to work? And because this is so underreported, I've never really, to now, it's always been about this. It's a subprime issue, it's a credit worthiness issue.
Bear doesn't do that. They just don't do that.
It would be, I mean,
they don't do that. They're in the Henry Ford never explain, never complain category, and I respect that.
Really? And what service is that to
Well, see, there's guys like me who know what they're doing, who can go tell people, but we're just in the minority. And it's so much easier to write that this, that the sky is falling again, than to actually have done the work as I did with finding out what was going on behind the scenes. And it was really rather amazing. I mean, the Merrill Lynch doesn't want to cut them a break. No. J.P. Morgan doesn't either. The strategy the guy was using was to buy this kind of paper and lever up his assets 10 times. So if the paper is even a marginal decline, he feels it really badly. And the investors got impatient. But at no point is this paper worth a lot less. I don't think people realize that the whole subprime phenomenon, other than New City Financial, has been rather calm.
New Century Financial?
New Century. Yeah. New Century is the only one that has really written paper that was just awful, all of it, the vast majority of it. Most of these places maintain their standards, and there'll be a 4 to 8% default rate. That's all there's been. The worst ones were 8%. You'd think it was 25%. But it's so much easier to not do the homework, and it's so much easier to be unsophisticated. I could very easily say here that there's going to be another 10 firms that this could happen. And it would be based on absolutely nothing.
On the anticipation, the fear.
Yeah, but you see, I go to check out whether this is one-off or not, right? And I am just hot to trot to say it's not, because that's the flavor of the day. So I make my calls, and I come back with the reality, which was that, Bear is hated by these guys. They cut the credit, they cut the liquidity off. The credit was really pretty good. A hedge fund could come in and buy the paper. And I say to myself, boy, that's not sexy. That doesn't get you anywhere. And then I said, well, you know what? It's real money. It's Wall Street Confidential. Why not tell the truth? Why? I don't have to sell papers. I'm beyond that.
Yeah.
Thank God.
We can afford it.
Yeah. Well, I know I can.
All right. That's Jim Cramer on Wall Street Confidential. Thank you, Jim. You're watching TheStreet.com TV. Stay with us.